So this is going to be the first video of my 8-month series on the Second Sino-Japanese War, or better known in China as 抗日战争, which translates to the War of Resistance against the Japanese. I want to do a long series on this because I feel like it's not covered enough. World War II is so well documented on the Western and Eastern Front, but I think a lot of information is lacking in terms of the Asia-Pacific battlefield. This war between China and Japan was absolutely brutal. The death toll from China alone was more than the entirety of World War I. Now the sources vary here, but it is estimated that during the Sino-Japanese War, between 15 to 20 million Chinese people died. But on the other side, the Japanese only suffered 450,000 to 700,000 deaths. Now I have to make a point clear. Some of the Chinese deaths, there were Japanese supporters. So it wasn't as one-sided as the numbers seemed. Maybe it was more 15 million to 3 million. But still, this war was absolutely horrific for the Chinese. And it would take them many decades to recover from this. Even to this day, the hate for the nation of Japan is at an all-time high. And this series will go on at the same time as my China's 5,000 year history series. And they will combine in September. So I have to be brutally honest. China got bent over by the Empire of Japan. And here are the 3 key factors in my opinion, the reason why China was so ineffective. You see, in the early 20th century, China was in a complete mess. The Qing dynasty was falling apart. In 1912, there was a rebellion and a lot of things happened. Emperor Puyi, he got overthrown. He's a very interesting character. He even has an English name, Henry. And he's considered by many people in China as a 狗汉奸. There's no exact translation, but you can call him a little punk bitch. That's what most Chinese people will remember him as. He was even questioned at the Tokyo trials. That's the equivalent of the Nuremberg trial for the Nazis. So after the emperor system collapsed, China was in a total mess for the most part. Many people lived in extreme poverty. Many areas were lawless. They were ruled by local bandits. Many people can't afford to live. They would sell their wives and their children just for some money to eat. And Japan saw China's weakness and chose the right time to attack. Factor number 2, China was on an ongoing civil war between the Communist Party and the Republic of China. These are 2 of the most well-documented men in history. You have Mao Zedong and Jiang Jieshi. They're the equivalent of Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler. This civil war was so brutal, it depleted China all of its money, all of its manpower, all of its resources. Halfway through the civil war, when the Japanese launched the full-scale invasion, China was totally unprepared. This has led to devastating consequences. And I also believe that the Japanese war was also the downfall of Jiang Jieshi and the Republic of China. Ultimately, this led to him losing the war and fleeing to Taiwan. Factor number 3, colonizers. As I mentioned, the Qing dynasty got quite weak and they were losing their grip on control of the entire nation of China. And everybody wanted a piece of China at the time. You see, the British, when they first visited China during the Qing dynasty, they got totally addicted and obsessed with the Chinese tea. But the issue is they didn't want to pay for it. So why not just use force? This has led to 2 opium wars in China, and this was just as brutal as the Sino-Japanese War. It has had devastating consequences on Chinese culture and Chinese history. The port cities of Hong Kong and Guangzhou was taken by force, and it wasn't handed back to the Chinese until 1997. But now Hong Kong has a totally different issue. See, when you're weak, everybody wants a piece of you. Doesn't matter how strong you used to be. It's just like when a lion gets injured, a bunch of hyenas or wild dogs will gang up on you and take everything you have. There was the famous incident of 火烧圆明园, the burning of the Summer Palace, done by the French. Macau was taken away by the Portuguese. A lot of things happened. Basically, colonizers, they completely destroyed China from inside out. And that's enough content for this video. This is going to be like a miniature series. And I sincerely hope that you guys will believe in my knowledge and in my contents. I will keep everything honest. There will be no fake news, no conspiracies. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video.